Intertalk Radio, you're in to all things music.
Welcome to the Changing Stage, music gear talk from the manufacturers and musicians who define the biz. Here's your host, Florentino Buenaventura.
Righty. This is Florentino Buenaventura. I know this because I heard that in the announcement of the intro. And we are the Changing Stage radio show powered by the mighty Intertalk Radio. Intertalk Radio is your into all things music. And before we get started today, I want to give a shout out to all of our cool sponsors. We got SIR at SIR-USA.com. SIR is the leader when it comes down to supplying all the backline for bands and all the touring musicians in the world, the biggest ones in the world, as well as doing corporate gigs. And we got some good friends with James over down at the San Diego branch. And then, of course, they've got offices all around the world, and we've used them many times for all of our events. So I want to give a special thanks to them. And of course, our great friends over at Pitbull Audio at pitbullaudio.com. Calvin and the crew over there really take to heart the musicians' focus and the passion that they have, and really try to power that with the right gear and the good prices. So we thank them very, very key. And then last but not least, our good friends over at Showslinger and Paul Nicholas and the crew over there, where they're trying to keep the musicians employed. So that's a really cool thing for them. And we really appreciate all of our listeners. So thank you folks for tuning in. And today's a great day. We've got a very special guest, a new friend, Mr. Mike Jones. Mike, say hi to everybody.
Hello, everybody.
Hey, so Mike is the owner of MEE Audio, and that's MEE Audio. So, it makes it all about you if you say MEE Audio. And Mike is the CEO, and he is the guy who's driving this company. And this company is one of the leaders in technologies for inner ear and other audio technologies, obviously in the name. We're going to talk a little to Mike today, a little bit about the company. We want to know a little bit about him and his insights into the industry. So, to start this thing off, Mike, tell us about you. You got the company started in 2005, but you obviously were doing some stuff before then. How did you get into this business? How did you get to where you're doing what you're doing now?
Hi, Florentino. First of all, thank you very much for the great intro. I actually haven't been with the company since the beginning. I joined in 2011, straight out of college. My personal background, I have an engineering degree in an unrelated field in biotech. But I was always a headphone hobbyist. This industry was very interesting to me. I'm a big hi-fi fan. I have the big speakers, the amps, all that stuff at home.
What kind of stuff is that? Let's have some names of some of the stuff that you have.
I have some studio monitors, some JBL floor monitors, that kind of stuff. Monoblock amps. I use what's the name of the company? I believe it's AudioQuest, cables. And so on. So
you really get down. Yeah, I used to be really passionate about McIntosh stuff because that was just like that was kind of the core stuff. And I don't know, I just haven't had as much time as I would love to do that. But I definitely appreciate all the high end fidelity. It's kind of sad that we have to play MP3s through that stuff though nowadays. But I'm sure you guys know how to make them sound good. So I continue on. I just wanted to jump in there.
Of course. Yeah. So there's actually kind of a counter movement going on right now where people are going back to vinyl and trying to throw off the MP3s, trying to get at least CD quality audio out of their high-end setups. And the headphones have been going in that direction for a while. So Beats kind of popularized it in 2006, 2007 or so.
Sure.
Where they made people more open to the idea of spending a couple of $100 on headphones.
Yeah, they definitely took it to the consumer market that way, because obviously in the pro end, when we've always been used to spending a bit of money for getting really good monitors that would have flat response or whatever it is. If you want some color, you get some certain types of ones, or if you're a DJ, there's certain ones that you would have. So I definitely can relate to that.
Absolutely. And I think it benefited the industry as a whole as well, just on the consumer side and in every aspect.
Yeah.
So the company itself was founded in 2005. Originally, it was an MP3 player company. MP3 players were just getting big back then. I think it was the iPod Classic that was getting really hot, iTunes, the first generation, and so on. So we were manufacturing entry-level MP3 players over in China, and we quickly realized that the limiting factor on sound quality with MP3 players, and even phones, smartphones were just starting up as well, are always the headphones. So it's not the hardware in the phone. It's not the MP3s, really. It's just the headphones that are the limiting factor. So we put a lot more effort into developing better earbuds to include with our gear. And over time, we started selling the earbuds separately by popular demand. And it so happened that they got attention of some headphone communities, some audiophiles. And pretty soon, the headphones as a standalone accessory kind of took over the business for Me Audio. So by 2009, we were fully focused on headphones. That was kind of our thing at that point. Yeah. And that's still us. We focus on several different niches within headphones, but it's all headphones all the time.
Now, when you got started, when you were in college, did you think you're going to go this direction? Did you see yourself taking up this role that you're in now, or is this something that you kind of took the job and then all of a sudden it developed into something?
Yeah, it's pretty much exactly that. So, my degree is not in a related field, it's biotech. I always thought that I would go in that direction, work corporate jobs, but it just so happened, I was offered a marketing position here at Me Audio, and that's how it started.
Wow.
And,
okay.
I was into headphones and hi-fi, so it was interesting for me to try, and it turned into this pretty natural fit, and I've been very happy where I am.
Awesome. I think you probably should be talking to my girlfriend. She's a scientist for a bio company, and she's resynthesizing DNA. So just a little side note, just kind of a fun thing. But yeah, it's amazing how things connect and interconnect here. And, and sometimes hey, if you asked me if I was going to be running a radio network and doing a radio show 4 years ago, I would have said, you're crazy. It was never in my scope of things. And, you never know where life's going to take you. So that's interesting because, a lot of the listeners here, they look at how do I have a relevant career in this business of music or in audio or any of that arena. And it's obviously the days of the huge, mega rock stars are no longer there. And, we're seeing a lot more opportunities open up in areas like this. So, I think that's kind of interesting that you kind of took that direction and you went there. And then when you went to marketing, now your role, if I'm not mistaken, you're pretty much in charge of all the pretty much the direction of the company. Am I not correct?
That's pretty true. We have a team here. We're a very small company, so we're about 15 people in total, about 12 here in the U.S., and we have a QC team in China as well.
Okay.
So we're a very small company.
Is that where you guys are developing the product, or not developing, but building the product out? Is that out of China or Taiwan?
The manufacturing is done in China. All of the design, all the marketing, all the sales, everything is done out of our office here in L.A.
Okay. Very, very cool. Yeah, you're a hop, skip, and a jump from us. One of these times we'll have to have you come down and hang out at this the station here. So, we're down in San Diego. And, we definitely understand that, and I think that's pretty important you guys have been able to remain nimble. What was the company's core focus when it first launched? Because you mentioned that you've kind of centered in on headphones and and the ear market, but was there other directions that you guys were started off with?
Yeah, so it was originally MP3 players and a little more general consumer electronics. The company name was actually Me Electronics when we started. Okay. It changed to Me Audio later as we got this focus.
Ah, okay. I think funny thing is, now that I remember, I think I had a Me MP3 player. It didn't dawn on me. I didn't connect both the dots because all the products that you guys have now are all headphones and that type of direction. Well, very, very cool. And what do you think about this market now? Do you think that there's still just kind of going back to it? Obviously, you guys moved out of it, but do you even think there's a call for MP3 players anymore? Or is it all going to be phones?
The MP3 player market, it shifted so dramatically when smartphones took over. There was the iPod, and there were higher end MP3 players and lower end MP3 players, and that market got decimated pretty much with the first and second generation iPhone.
Yeah, for sure.
So right now, I think most people, except maybe for jogging or some very minor uses, there's some underwater MP3 players that people use for swimming. Obviously, you can't use a phone in that situation.
Yeah.
But other than that, the only people that are still using dedicated players are audiophiles, basically, because they need the extra quality, the extra power, and they need, maybe play some file formats that phones don't support.
Yeah, and that's kind of where I was going to lead, was in the audiophile arena. Oh, I'm trying to remember. Somebody came out. There was a recording artist that came out with a really high end MP3 player. I'm trying to remember who that was.
Yes, that was Depano.
And who was the recording artist? My brain is on. I don't know. I would have been able to spit the name out really easy, but it was a pretty big recording artist. Do you remember that one?
It was. I'm trying to remember as well.
Probably should. I have an internet right in front of me. I'm going to look it up.
It's Neil Young.
It was Neil Young. That's right. I couldn't remember. Is that doing anything anymore in the business? I haven't heard much about it in a long time.
Yeah, I don't think it exploded the way that he expected it to. It was touted as the next iPod of sorts,
okay.
And because they went into this sort of higher end market where there was already quite a bit of competition, it sort of fizzled out, from what I can tell.
Gotcha. Well, yeah. Well, definitely it was a good move for you guys to get into earphones and the headphones and the types of products that way. Scott Robertson, who is the host of our May the Best Brand Win radio show, recommended we talk to you. He was exceptionally impressed by the quality, and he's got a really strong background in the MI channel because he was the director of marketing and communications for NAM for many years. So I know I have to admit I have not had a chance to experience the quality, but if he says it's amazing, I trust him implicitly. So I mean that's a cool thing. What was the passion behind the development of your unique propositions for the why your products are so successful and why people use yours over other companies right now?
And, it's up to the several niches that we sort of factor in. For the musicians market, we really just wanted to create a product that obliterated the competition in terms of value. So we kind of pulled out all the stops. We probably could have done a little bit less with our first release in this market, but we just wanted to really get in there with a very strong start. And NAM was a very big part of that. You just mentioned it. And in regards to Scott, we launched at NAM 2015 here in Anaheim.
Okay, yeah. I was we were at that one. We broadcast every year from there.
Yep. And the product was received very well. We got fantastic feedback. We kind of started an artist endorsement program while we were there.
Oh, cool.
And it kind of snowballed from there.
Now, that's actually a really good one because a lot of our listeners want to know how they would become endorsed artists with different manufacturers. And each manufacturer kind of has there's some points that they all can relate to. But, in your case, what do you look for in an artist or an emerging artist, and how do they kind of facilitate the dialogue to start that direction with you?
Yeah, so we're probably a lot less formal than some of the bigger companies. If you go to Shure, for example, they probably have quite a bit of requirements. If you're very informal, very straightforward, so you come to us as an artist, you say like, hey, here I am, here's what I'm doing, here's how I'd like to work with you, and then that's something we evaluate on a one-to-one basis. And we say like, hey, we think this could be beneficial to our brand. Even if not, just approaching us, we have artist discounts. We have all of these very cool programs for people who want to work with us, who can post on social media and so on.
Yeah.
So no matter what, you'll get a reply. We'll tell you, if you're where we want you to be an endorsed artist or where you need to get to.
Very cool. Now, are there different levels that you approach artists? Obviously, it's hard to kind of gauge for sure, but when it comes down to it, I know that there are companies that have, pretty much the ones that I know of. There's the ones that have their high profile artist roster, and then they have the ones where you're a working professional, we want to support you kind of thing. They give discounts. Do you have those types of ways to look at it, or it's just a unique one per one basis?
It's kind of a natural separation. So, if somebody comes to us and says like, hey, I'm in a big band, I want to work with you guys, we'll say like, hey, cool, here's what we expect you to do, some pictures and so on, something we can use on our social media. And here's some, some product for you to use. The other level is if they're not quite at the level we want them to be at, we'll still support them with the discount. We'll still keep in touch with them. We'll put them on our musician sort of newsletter. We'll get in contact with them. They'll be able to still use our monitors at a discount, still communicate with us. We'll repost their media and so on, but they won't get the level of support necessarily that someone who can truly work with us on a high level will.
Yeah, I get that 100%, and that's the reality. I mean, as you grow as an artist, your impact and your influence in the industry grows, and you're basically rewarded accordingly. So I think that's it's more than fair, because that encourages people to not rest on their laurels. So that's very cool. Now kind of coming back to it with the company. Have you looked at any other areas besides earphones, headphones, and I know you have a few other accessories here, but have you looked at in getting into, say, speakers or anything of that nature, since there's kind of a natural progression?
Yes, of course. So speakers are something always on our mind. It's obviously a very big market, but our expertise, my personal background is in headphone fandom. I do listen to speakers, but I'm a lot more of an expert on headphones, and that is true for most of our team. So every time we look into speakers, we start listening to them and we go, wow, this is a very complicated and very different way of looking at acoustics and looking at sound compared to headphones. And then from there, the question is, have we gone as far as we can in headphones where we're confident now to branch out and have enough attention, have enough focus to really make something great in speakers? And so far the answer has been no. So we haven't quite branched out to that. But we did launch, for example, a very innovative product, a transmitter for TV that allows people to use their Bluetooth headphones with televisions. Yeah,
I've seen that. That's pretty awesome. It gives you up to 2 headsets. So that's usually your Bluetooth, you get 1. So
so that's something that we got a lot of feedback from consumers saying, hey, I love your headphones, love your wireless headphones. How can I use it with my TV? So that was a product really based on need. And it turned out that it was, in the right place at the right time. Best Buy's picked it up. So it's been quite successful for us.
Yeah. That is awesome. We got about 30 seconds left here. I want to save the product, descriptions and everything for this next segment. Let's get your URL. How can people find out more about MEE Audio?
So it's going to be meeaudio.com. That's me with 2 E's, so MEE, and then audio and .com. Okay, very cool. And Facebook, it's MEE Audio as well? Yep, everything MEE Audio. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Pinterest, and so on.
Awesome. Well, this has been the Changing Stage radio show, powered by the mighty Intertalk Radio Network. You're into all things music. We'll be right back in a few short moments. Audio, as well as our good friends over at SIR. Stay tuned.
Are you serious about your music? Are you ready to run with the big dogs? The experts at Pitbull Audio have the gear to get you into the game. From leading manufacturers like Mesa Boogie, Fender, Pioneer, and American Audio. To sound your best, you need the best. Pitbull Audio can deliver in rehearsal, on stage, and into the big time. Dropping beats, shredding guitar, or making the crowd roar. Whatever you dream, Pitbull Audio can help make it happen. We are Pitbull Audio. We want you to play it loud. PitbullAudio.com.
This is Jackie Bertoni from Jackie's Groove. Come join me weekly on my journey through the music business as I take you behind the velvet rope, interviewing industry notables such as Al Di Meola, Michael McDonald, and Al Jarreau, to name but a few. Listen to their stories on being in the studios recording #1 hits and onto the stages throughout the globe. Allow me to be your music historian. You can hear me live every Monday at 2 p.m. and every Wednesday at 12 noon Pacific Standard Time or 24/7 on jackiesgroove.com. Ready to get your groove on?
Hi, I'm Tim Dolbear, the host of Sound Experience on Intertalk Radio. Each week, I talk with top professional audio engineers, producers, musicians, and the manufacturers that make the tools that we use in the studio each and every day. From capturing the perfect take to mastering your final release, and the tools and how the pros use them, we are going to dive deep into their process and learn from their experience. I look forward to you joining us each week on Sound Experience with me, your host, Tim Dolbear.
Make this your vinyl night. I'm John J.R. Robinson, and every week, music creation comes alive through stories, experiences, and sounds when vinyl records filled our hearts and minds. My friends and I share our tips and techniques used in creation of iconic tracks for recording artists such as Michael Jackson, Eric Clapton, Quincy Jones, and Steve Winwood, to name a few. Vinyl has emerged hot, and the soul of vinyl defines art and passion which burns deepest at night. Tune in every Wednesday.
Welcome to the Changing Stage, music gear talk from the manufacturers and musicians who define the biz. Here's your host, Florentino Buenaventura.
Yeah. This is the second segment of the Changing Stage radio show powered by the mighty Intertalk Radio Networks. You're into all things music. My name is Florentino Buenaventura. I'm here with my guest, Mr. Mike Jones of the awesomely awesome MEE Audio. And we've been talking about gear and, actually we were talking about how he got into this business, and folks, get your bio degree and then get into the audio industry. That's all we got to tell you. So, we obviously have some really cool gear to talk about in this segment here, Mike. You've got different lines with different focuses. We kind of separate it into the MI channel, the music instrument channel, and then we also have some consumer products that can translate into that if you're a musician as well. But let's start off with a flagship. What is the product that you guys really focus in on, the musicians of this world and the people in the studio and all the technicians? What's the product that you guys really tell them and about, as well as what are some of the key differentiators?
So we have our M6 Pro in-ear monitors. That's what we entered this segment with. It was our very first in-ear monitor made specifically for musicians. It's been our bestseller. It's been what put us on the map. There is an M7 Pro, which is a higher end model coming out later this year. But the M6 Pro has been sort of our bread and butter, and it's been the way that we've introduced ourselves and set ourselves up in this market. And the message with that product from the start has been perfect for use on and off the stage. It's part of the message of affordability and something that people can just buy once and use for many, many years as they're an amateur musician, a pro musician, no matter where life takes them. And they can also use that with their phone at the gym. It's their headphone. It's not their stage headphone. It's not for any specific use. It's just their headphone. But of course, it has the performance, the sound quality, everything that you need to use it on stage properly. It's a true stage monitor.
Wow. And this is ridiculously affordable. We're talking $25 if I'm not mistaken.
It's $50 to start, and then it's it's $49.99. So that's the everyday price. And for that, you get quite a lot of kit. You get the monitors, you get 2 different sets of cables, including a spare. Okay. You have all the different ear fittings, some memory foam ear fittings, and so on. And then we have a lifetime replacement program for it as well. So if something happens where it's outside of our regular warranty period, we'll replace it for $25.
Okay, maybe that's where I was getting mistaken. I'm looking at pricing here. So, with that said, you've got different models. So from that point, there are a couple of other models that go up and go down. If with that starting point, what would be some of the advantages for some of the other models that you have? So for the musicians market, the M7 Pro is the model, the higher end model that we're working on right now. We actually introduced it back at Winter NAMM earlier this year in January. It was released to great acclaim. We had a big showing. Some drummers came out to our booth to celebrate and so on. That's going to be our up market. That's going to be more to compete with Shure, Westone, the mainstream guys, more on their term, more on their price level. Yeah.
But M6 Pro, like you said, is super affordable. It's meant for people who are just setting up, they're just getting started, or they want to back up. They don't want to spend $100, $200, $300 on a universal, or more even so, $500, $600 on a custom fit.
Yeah. Well, they go up to $1,500 for some of the other ones. It could be pretty pricey to get into this arena, but I think that's super cool that you guys got some products in that price range. Now, basically your model though is you provide different earbuds and stuff like that would fit your ears. Is that correct?
Yeah, so our earphones are universal fit. They're just $50, but we give you 6 different sizes of silicone and also a memory foam, which is very, very customizable in terms of fit. Try to get you as close to a custom fit as you can. It really gets you a great experience on stage. We haven't really had people who were unable to use it because of the fit, because it wasn't a custom monitor. And with in-ear monitors growing as fast as they are in this market segment, it just gives you a way to at least try it, to at least see if in-ear monitoring on stage is right for you.
Yeah, and I think that's great. And you do, obviously not in these particular cases, but you do have some wireless in the over-the-ear stuff as well, right?
We do, yeah. We do Bluetooth on our consumer line. We are looking into doing some kind of Bluetooth implementation for Pro Audio, where it comes with some kind of transmitter, and the Bluetooth in-ears are kind of eliminating the need for to have a wireless pack on your belt. But that's something for NAMM 2018 and beyond.
Okay. So we've got a little ways away, which we're all excited about for this coming NAMM here. And do you think that's going to be a certainty that you're going to be launching these, or is this something that you're just still in the development, not quite sure if we're going to go that direction?
It seems to be where the industry is going. We're very serious about developing something, but our philosophy is, we'll put in the effort. We'll try to get as far as we can with the development. If we can't get a product that we're happy with, that we would use ourselves, we're not going to release it. We actually have a couple of projects that ended that way, just because of our super high standards for how a product needs to perform and how usable it needs to be.
And what type of how long does it take you guys to birth a product like that? Do you guys start at 5 years, 2 years, or just, hey, we got an idea, let's just kind of get it out in a year?
It depends on the product and the level of complexity that's involved. The M6 Pro is something that you could say was 5 years in the making, because it is based on an older product that we had that we kind of serendipitously found out that musicians were using on stage. So we started talking, many years before it was released, like, hey, can we do something specifically for stage? Can we go in that direction? And it just took a while to get to the point where we were confident enough to release it. For another product that we have something we call our Pinnacle line, which is our high-end audiophile products.
Okay.
And for our Pinnacle P1 in-ear monitors, which are our top-of-the-line audiophile monitors, the actual development cycle was a solid 3 years.
Wow. Okay. So when you went out there, you did that with intent, where the other one, the M6, was more of a response to market demand.
That's correct.
Very cool. And what's the process? How do you guys? What do you go through when you're looking at dissecting what people are going to need? Do you do a lot of A/B testing, a lot of focus groups? What do you guys do to find out where you want to kind of center the final product on?
We do a lot of that with the audiophile market, for example, because we are audiophile hobbyists. We have kind of our finger on the pulse, so we can get market trends pretty early from just community discussions. See what people are talking about, where the market is going. For the MI, the M6 Pro was kind of a special case because we had this product called the M6 previously, which was a sports in-ear earphone. Mm-hmm. And we saw a large number of purchases that were, several units, and they were for churches and for bands. And we started looking into it, and we saw that it was musicians purchasing them because they had kind of the right look and the right fit and the right sound to work as stage monitors with a much less expensive price tag than, proper purpose-made stage monitors.
Yeah.
So over time, we got in touch with maybe, I would say, 10 to 20 of these groups of users and started getting some feedback from them like, hey, what would you like to see if this product was actually designed for stage, but if we could still keep it affordable? And the list of demands, so to speak, was very, very consistent from all these users. And we looked at it and we said, like, hey, we can implement this and we can still price it very, very reasonably. So maybe that's the way to go.
And that's pretty cool because, when you think about it, usually it's been the opposite way around, where something that was developed for the high end market, they realize, well, if we really, if we refine this back down to a couple of key features that, the average consumer is not going to need, we'll have something that will work for them. In your particular case, it was different. Now, do you find yourselves designing things that way now, or do you start with the MI channel in mind and then scale it back down?
Well, so now that we have an entrance sort of into the segment, now we kind of have a lot of endorsed artists that give us feedback, and a lot of other artists that give us feedback. We have all the NAMM shows where we get to talk to people face to face, not just people, on the user side of the industry, but also resellers and wholesalers and industry reps and so on. So we have a lot of great feedback that helps us to figure out where the next step is for this market. But we do love to create a product based on market demand, kind of like how we did with the TV transmitter. And with the M6 Pro, the fact that people were coming from down market told us that there's an opening for a higher value, lower price musicians monitor.
Okay. And, with that said, I was looking at some of the different products like the Sport and a couple of the other ones. What are some of the differentiators that you would say happen with the Pro versus, say, the Sport? Obviously, the Sport's a little bit more aesthetically driving with the different multiple colors and different things that you guys have there. But is there a fidelity difference, or you go for a flatter sound, or do you try to design sounds that would fit, say, a bass player's monitor needs versus, say, a guitar player's monitor needs, and then make it more, all-rounded need? So how does that work for you guys?
Yeah, so I'm very glad you mentioned that. So the M6 Pro and even our new upcoming M7 Pro, we're building these for drummers and bass guitarists most of all, because historically they've been the core market for us. They're the ones that respond the best to the kind of sound tuning that we do. So what we try to do is we try to keep things very level to keep the clarity in there. Mm-hmm. And then we boost certain parts of the frequency spectrum to compensate for things that tend to get lost in loud environments, i.e. on stage. So we bring in a little bit of the deep bass, we bring it back in after flattening the sound, and the same thing, a little bit of the upper mid-range to get that crunch for guitars. Okay. So that everyone can be aware of what's going on stage. And bass guitarists and drummers, they respond very well to this sort of sound because it's something that's not really out there, even in higher end monitors. Usually they're tuned for a more flat sound. And with our sports line, it's much more consumer focused. So we have a lot less treble presence, keep things very smooth, allow people to turn up the volume a little bit more, and then bring in the really powerful bass, maybe not quite Beats by Dre level, but enough bass to keep you motivated while exercising.
Well, honestly, I'm a bass player, and, unless I'm listening to, something with some 808 in it, I'm not really that appreciative of the beat sound. I really like some of the other ones. So, I think that's smart move. And I play bass. I don't want to hear a lot of the stuff below 500. I want to hear the stuff that's going to be a bit above that. I want to hear attack. I want to hear, some definition, and I don't need to necessarily know that I'm going to rumble my eardrums. So very cool. That is awesome. And are you planning on, if let's say it was more of a personalization standpoint, obviously there's only a few different flavors when it comes down to the professional side. Would you guys ever consider doing maybe some of the multicolors, or do you even think that's even something that the MI channel would even be interested in?
It's something that we've tried. We actually just released a blue limited edition of the M6 Pro with a couple of online channels and in-store channels that we work with, just to see how the market would respond. Well,
it might not be too bad because it looks like they're sold out right now. So if they get on there, you better get them quick, guys, because you won't have this limited edition. Seems like. So yeah, that's cool. I definitely like that. All said and done, I think it's more of a personal thing. I don't necessarily think it's going to affect their stage look. I don't know if anybody would be able to see it from that standpoint, but I think that they look very solid, and I think that's a really smart approach, making it set for more drummers and bass players, because obviously bass player and drummers are more important than the rest of the band. I'm saying that to Paul, who's a guitar player, who's the our head of engineering over here. So do you guys have a lot of musicians over at your office?
Ourselves, not a lot of us are. We have a couple of people that play guitar, but not professionally.
Oh, okay.
But in our inner circle of friends, we do have a lot of musicians, and we're able to get some very good feedback. And even if you look at some of our pictures, some of them are taken in our friends' studios and so on, just trying to get some studio time to take shots of our monitors.
Yeah, definitely. Well, I think that's kind of smart, actually, because the key area that you're looking at is you're the ultimate in fidelity fans there, and that's going to be probably more important than the musicians. Musicians can tell you what they want, but you can tell them what it's supposed to sound like to your ears. So I think that's a good, synergistic relationship, symbiotic, between those. And you mentioned some of the other ones that you have here. Tell us a bit about the headphones. Now, I'm assuming the inner ears were where you guys started from, but you've kind of moved now into the over the ear market. What's your philosophy on that standpoint?
So our whole lineup is actually subdivided into three main segments. So we have our sports, which are at this point all wireless and all in-ears. That's where the market's moved, and we've kind of moved with it. Then we have our pro audio and audiophile, which are all wired in-ears. Mm-hmm. And then we have our kind of home audio segment, which is a little bit more varied, and that's where we have things like a TV transmitter, and we have a couple of over-the-ear headphones. And now the over-the-ear headphones in this case are more designed to work with our transmitter, even though any Bluetooth headphones will work. So they're just very solid all-around Bluetooth headphones for home use.
Oh, very cool. I'm looking at some of those right now, and they range from price points from $20, and you should run out and get the pink version right now as we speak, or you can get, obviously that's for the kid jams, but so hopefully you have a small head. And then it sounds like you got some pretty solid audiophile styled headphones with the $119 or $120 price range for Bluetooth. And now do you ever find any of these making their way into the studio world?
We've been asked many times to do a sort of DJ version of our Bluetooth headphones, and we think the market is heading in that direction, but it's not quite there yet to whether it would make sense to have a Bluetooth wireless DJ headphone or Bluetooth wireless studio headphone. So definitely something that's on the books, something that we're exploring at all times, but for now, we don't think it's there yet.
Now, do you find yourselves, really stronger in the consumer channels or in the MI channels?
So the M6 Pro has been our best seller for the past probably 2 years company-wide.
Oh, wow. Okay,
so
very cool.
Just the musicians market responded so well to it that we've done extremely well. It's taken over sports as our top line for products, and audiophile is catching up as well.
Well, for $50, that is, an amazing price for inner ears, honestly, very frankly. All the other ones I've ever seen that were, at this level are going to be at least $100 or more, and you're lucky to find those at that price point. So, where are some of the channels that people can find these?
So our bread and butter has always been online. Amazon is probably our number one reseller for M6 Pros. If you look for in-ear monitors on Amazon, they are the first ones that come up. They have over 1,000 reviews that are pretty much all positive. So they're one of the best-selling in-ear monitors, of all time online. We have quite a few in-store channels as well. B&H Photo in New York, a couple of other, digital DJ gear, and a bunch of other, MI-specific channels.
Gotcha. We should have you talk with one of our sponsors, because I think that, I don't know if you have Pitbull Audio, but that would be something that I think they would be interested in. They do a lot of different types of MI channel products, so I think that would be pretty cool. I'll definitely do a referral.
Absolutely, absolutely.
And with that said, do you have I didn't even realize, man. I got engrossed in the conversation here. That music tells us we're going to the next break. Stay tuned, folks. This has been the Changing Stage Radio Show, speaking with Mr. Mike Jones of MEE Audio. We'll be right back in a few short minutes to talk to him about where the industry's going and maybe follow up a little bit on some of the gear stuff that we're talking about. I really appreciate y'all listening, and we'll be right back.
Hi, I'm Tim Dolbear, the host of Sound Experience on Intertalk Radio. Each week, I talk with top professional audio engineers, producers, musicians, and the manufacturers that make the tools that we use in the studio each and every day. From capturing the perfect take to mastering your final release, and the tools and how the pros use them, we are going to dive deep into their process and learn from their experience. I look forward to you joining us each week on Sound Experience with me, your host, Tim Dolbear.
Are you serious about your music? Are you ready to run with the big dogs? The experts at Pitbull Audio have the gear to get you into the game. From leading manufacturers like Mesa Boogie, Fender, Pioneer, and American Audio. To sound your best, you need the best. Pitbull Audio can deliver in rehearsal, on stage, and into the big time. Dropping beats, shredding guitar, or making the crowd roar. Whatever you dream, Pitbull Audio can help make it happen. We are Pitbull Audio. We want you to play it loud. PitbullAudio.com.
You know what's all around you every waking moment of your life? Marketing. You're choking on it. I'm Scott Robertson, and when it comes to strategic PR, branding, and marketing, I've seen it all. And actually, I'm still seeing it because bad marketing never sleeps. Join me each week on May the Best Brand Win, right here on InterTalk Radio, and learn how to make the marketing for your brand unforgettable.
This is Jackie Bertoni from Jackie's Groove. Come join me weekly on my journey through the music business as I take you behind the velvet rope, interviewing industry notables such as Al DiMeola, Michael McDonald, and Al Jarreau, to name but a few. Listen to their stories on being in the studios recording #1 hits and onto the stages throughout the globe. Allow me to be your music historian. You can hear me live every Monday at 2 p.m. and every Wednesday at 12 noon Pacific Standard Time or 24/7 on jackiesgroove.com. Ready to get your groove on?
Welcome to the Changing Stage, music gear talk from the manufacturers and musicians who define the biz. Here's your host, Florentino Buenaventura.
It is the third segment of the Changing Stage radio show, powered by the mighty InterTalk Radio Network. You're in to all things music, and we've been talking about music. We've been talking about gear, and we've been talking about the key element is how to get it into your ears. And whether you're a player and you need to be able to hear what you're doing, or you are just a fan and want to hear the way it was played and the way it's supposed to sound, our guest, Mike Jones, and he is here with MEE Audio, and he is talking to us about all this fun stuff. And Mike, you're back with us here.
I am. Thank you very much.
Very cool. So we've talked about how you got started and how people can look at having a career in music business. It always starts from the biology world. So remember that, guys. Never go for music. Just go get your biology degree and you're going to have a career in music. So just keep that in mind. And then the cool gear and the M6 Pros are the way to go. $50. You can't beat that for inner-ear monitors. And, you're going to find that's going to be the best pricing. And, I think that, it's going to be cool for it's worth, even if you haven't heard them, it's inexpensive to give them a shot. So, I would say go out, run out and get those. And, if you can find that the blues are in stock, get them now, because you definitely can't get them, as often because they're in demand. So remember that, folks. Now, with that said, it's a different industry than it was when you guys first started. Obviously, you didn't start at that time, as you mentioned, but the dynamics have changed in the MI channel greatly. And you mentioned that you do a lot of your sales online. How do you guys approach how do you approach this current market, and what are some of the thoughts on where it's at now? Where do you think it's going, and how you guys are kind of maneuvering all this landscape?
Yeah, so the MI market is kind of following. It's a little bit more resistant to the changes. I feel like the changes that have happened in the consumer market, where customers have been very quick to embrace online channels and the new marketing and sales model. Yeah. But it's all moving in that direction. You hear all the time about Best Buy closing X number of stores, or this retail chain going out of business, and the business is moving online. Maybe not for super large unwieldy items, but definitely for things like headphones and accessories.
Yeah.
And with that, it opens it up to a lot of things that we haven't seen previously. There's competition coming straight out of China, for example.
Yeah, which is kind of ironic, because technically they're not supposed to be able to do that, but they've definitely changed their tone quite a bit lately in market, and they're definitely going towards more of a capitalist market approach, at least when it comes down to their industries.
For sure. And the way they run business is just so aggressive and so cost driven. It's very different, especially for the music industry. We're kind of a hybrid system. So we have a lot of online sales. We also do in store. If you come to us and you say, hey, I have a store, we'll give you reseller costs, and you're able to sell our monitors pretty easily. So we keep it going in that way, but there are certain things that are just easier to do online. I mentioned before our replacement program, our lifetime replacement program. That's just much easier to do with online sales than going through dealers.
Yep. Now,
Yeah, so
if it went through a dealer and someone, and would they refer them back to you to get the replacement, or how would that work?
yeah, so we do it a couple of different ways. First of all, there's a warranty, which they have to come back to us to get the replacement or warranty. If they're outside of the warranty period, then if they want the half price replacement, they definitely have to come to us because the dealers aren't going to honor that. But one thing they usually do stock is replacement parts. And one of the ways we design our monitors is to have a modular design where every part is interchangeable and replaceable.
Ah, smart. That's very smart.
And that's done for that long service life. So again, we don't want you to have to replace your monitors every year because you snag the cables underneath your amp, or you stepped on an earpiece.
Hey, we got to talk to you, man, because we go through at least over the ear ones all the time because of cables getting caught on office chairs and stuff like that,
Exactly.
or the the ends getting bent or a little bit, and it's like it's too hard just to go and to physically solder things and get that done. So just go buy another set. So we usually use, not that, we use decent ones, but we don't spend the big dollars when we've got people coming in and out using them. And next thing you know, they're broken, and just, you don't want to spend a couple $100s on a set of headphones. So, that's, and the fact that yours is so cost effective, it would make sense just to go get a new one, but you wouldn't have to do that. With that said, what would be, say, like, some of the accessory prices that they could expect? Like, how much is it to replace the cable? Because you could take the earbuds off, and the cable, of each side can be replaced, or maybe if you have one that goes out, you can just replace it with another one. How does that all work?
Yeah, that's exactly right. So every part is individually replaceable, and we actually include a spare cable for you in the box, which helps a lot with troubleshooting. So if you say, my right earpiece stopped working, you plug it into the other cable. If the right earpiece is still not working, that means the earpiece is at fault. So if you're not under warranty, or it's something you did, you dropped it, you stepped on it, whatever, you go to our website. It's about $10 for a replacement cable and about 12 to 15 for a replacement earpiece.
Okay.
And again, everything is readily available. We also encourage our dealers to stock these parts, so you should be able to go back, to your local dealer and get a cable as well. And it also allows us to do some pretty cool things with optional accessories. So, for example, we have a mono cable for the M6 Pro model, which mixes both channels into one ear. And that's because, just the fact of the industry is some people prefer to have one ear open for listening to the crowd, listening to the stage. And we facilitate that by mixing both channels into their other ear.
Oh, that's smart, Dad. Yeah, definitely. We've been in that many times. So, you don't want to have that stereo spread, and you just need to listen to one ear, and that's really smart.
Yeah, and it's something we don't necessarily encourage because you kind of lose the noise isolation, the hearing safety aspects of an in-ear monitor when you do that. But of course, people will do what they'll do, especially if they've been in the industry for 30, 40, 50 years, much longer than we have.
Yeah. Well, like you mentioned, DJs, they're usually sitting off with one, one over ear on one ear and the other one off. So, I don't know if they would use the in-ears the same way. People get kind of accustomed to their ways of doing it, but that definitely works. So that's reasonable. That is definitely, if you need to just replace a cable. How about the ear tips and ear pads? I went through I had gotten some headphones, and I lost one of those, and I just took me forever to try to figure out where to get these things from. So I finally did, but what would be the cost of, say, the ear tips and ear pads?
So the full pack of ear tips is about $7 to $10. If you have a specific size that you use, then it's going to be anywhere between $3 and $5 on our website, and we do ship for free within the U.S. So it's very cost effective. It's not going to put you out terribly, if you lose an ear tip or you rip one or something.
Like I said, more and more we get into this, the more and more I'm sold, because these aren't typical things you would find. So, it's good for customers or at least our listeners to know they have this option, because that's, quite often if your headphones go out, you just go, okay, I got to go out and buy another set. It's just, you don't take them, get them repaired. You don't think about getting extra pieces to it. So that's pretty cool. And how about, say, for some of the other lines that are not MI channel, do you do the same types of things, say, for like the wireless, if you have that, or is it just the MI channel that you do that with?
So we usually stock the basic things like ear tips and cables, things that get lost. But in terms of being able to detach the earpieces and replace the cables separately, that's something that's unique to our Pro line and our audiophile line.
Okay.
So that's where you'll find everything being interchangeable and all the parts being, easily removable.
Gotcha. Mentioning the audiophile line, what are some of the key differences with that? where do you differentiate the frequency and is it just a better build, or is it something that you change from the listening experience?
Yeah, so the audiophile line is going to have a slightly different focus. So in M6 Pro, when we develop for pro market in general, we focus on things like reliability, longevity, and performance. We don't pay too much attention to cosmetics or the way the product looks coming out of the box, etc. But the audiophile market is very different. It's much more luxury oriented. Let's put it that way. So appearances matter. The way things, the materials that things are made of matter quite a bit, and of course the audio performance matters very much. And we do follow actually a flatter sound curve for our audiophile products than we do for Pro. As I mentioned, for Pro, we bring back some of the things that get lost in loud environments. For audiophile, we don't do that. Our flagship audiophile product, which is the Pinnacle P1 earphones, it took us 3 years to develop this product. And one of the reasons is we decided to use zinc alloy to build the earpieces, which has never been done before for in-ear headphones ever in the history. So we had to figure out how to die cast zinc alloy, how to make it last, how to make sure it doesn't, and so on, basically from scratch.
Wow, that is definitely, and the price point is still very reasonable for audiophile at $199.99. That's usually those types of headphones are going to take you quite a bit more, folks. So definitely want to check into that. And where do you think the headphone market's going now with Beats? If I'm not mistaken, is owned by Apple. If I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, you're totally right. Beats is owned by Apple, and Apple has been very adamant in trying to sort of proprietarize the audio market by removing the headphone jack from the iPhone, for example.
You read my mind. I was like, what do you guys think about that?
It's tough. Luckily, we have been in the Bluetooth kind of segment since 2012. We have a very solid basis in Bluetooth headphones. So it doesn't affect us too much other than the fact that we have to now say, you know what, we got to have a Bluetooth version of everything. So later this year, we're going to launch a Bluetooth accessory for the M6 Pro that allows you to take your M6 Pro and use it with an iPhone that doesn't have a headphone jack. Because we've had, probably hundreds of customers come to us and say like, ooh, unfortunately I lost the ability to use my M6 Pro with my phone. And that's, that makes me sad.
Yeah. And I think Paul will testify. Don't get me started on Apple. I do own an iPhone reluctantly. And, fortunately it is not one that has the, it still has, it's a 6 Plus S, 6S Plus, I guess. But, here's Paul.
Yeah.
There are FCC regulations about how much smack you could talk about Apple on the air.
I know the Apple police will come breaking down our
get
door.
Us in trouble.
Yeah, definitely. They did that.
They are definitely the leader in this segment. So what we're seeing now is people are going to start following Apple. So we're going to see more and more phones lose the headphone jack, which means they go either Bluetooth or some kind of digital connection, which is going to take a little while to stabilize to see what kind of digital connections win in the end. It's going to be either Lightning or USB Type-C.
Yeah. And it's just, I don't know. Anyway, I won't get started on that. I'm afraid the FCC police will come through that as Apple will sick them on me. But we did have an interesting story though. We had a person that wanted to play. There was an artist that wanted to play one of their tracks. I don't want to mention any names, but they were so happy that they got the new iPhone. He goes, "Can you play that off of my iPhone?" Yeah, sure. Here's your auxiliary jack. Oh, I have a 7. He couldn't play the song. No, I think he finally sent it over to us. He just emailed it to us, but such a challenge. Anyway, I'll leave it at that, folks. I won't go on my Apple rant. But it is interesting how they definitely changed the market by bringing in. I will give them this. They were the ones who got the record labels to give music to MP3 players, because at that point back then I used to work for a couple of different companies that kind of worked in that market, and it was hard. It was exceptionally hard to get a major label to give you tunes for your website to market. They just didn't until Apple came around and got iTunes powered up, and then there were MP3 players, as we know. MEE was started with that, but Apple was the one who was able to get the music that would put into the MP3 player to provide a market. So I'll give them that, but it has changed quite a bit in this times. Do you with it going that direction, are there any other trends that you see that might be affecting the direction of your company?
Yeah, so Apple, you can't underestimate what they've done for the music market again and again. So they have this consistency, whether they keep changing the game, and now they've kind of done it again with the AirPods, which they're calling a true wireless headphone, where the two earbuds are independent of each other. They're not connected by a wire anymore, and there's no wires, period.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's going to be a very big thing. We already saw at consumer electronics shows this year how big of a deal people are making this out to be. And that's definitely the next trend on the consumer side of wireless. There's still a little bit of improvement that needs to happen on the technology side, but it will happen for sure. And people just resonate so well with that type of design because it's what you think of when you think wireless earphones. We've kind of been conditioned to think they have a wire in between. But, now that doesn't have to be the case, that's where the market will go. The MI and audiophile industries, they're actually somewhat resistant to wireless technology, but I think over time it'll happen. We do still see a lot of people using personal mixers, and those are becoming more and more iPad-based. They're more and more digital, more and more integrated with the whole landscape.
Yeah, that's definitely the case for sure.
And going Bluetooth just makes so much sense. Yeah.
Now, kind of with that said, do you, being that you guys are, really driving the M6 Pros more, do you find that the NAMM show is bigger for you than CES?
From an ROI standpoint, return on investment, yeah, that's definitely true. We've had great success at NAMM, great feedback, and this year we had a much bigger booth than previous years. We had, like I said, some of our endorsed artists come out and play some sets. We had some shows, so it's been fantastic. NAMM is wonderful if you're in this industry.
Yeah, definitely. We broadcast. Unfortunately, we never get a chance to actually see the show because we're so filled with making people aware of it, either through their radio, through our portal, or through we do a lot of product preview videos as well. So we kind of get the word out. So we try to share it with everybody. We never get a chance to experience it, not like we used to before. But this year,
catch 22, huh?
Yeah, this year though, man, we're going to definitely make it out to check out all the new stuff. I'm looking forward to the 7 there that you guys are going to be launching. Hopefully that will, take effect for that time and any of the new developments that you guys have there. Kind of as we start to wind down here a little bit, we've got probably about 1 minute left. What do you want the listeners to, if there's one thing they could take away from this, what do you want them to take away from this interview?
Our message is that hearing protection for stage and proper in-ear monitors for stage, they don't have to cost an arm and a leg. It's something that we've heard over and over again at NAMM shows, even Nashville NAMM, which tends to be a little bit smaller, a little bit more musician focused, where people say, I can't afford in-ears. I just go with the stage wedges or whatever the venue provides. And our message is that really doesn't have to be the case. And stage wedges are a lot of the times ineffective and they don't give you enough control over the environment. So in-ear monitors, if you're having trouble affording them, come to us. We'll make sure that you can get set up, and we're very, very friendly. We're kind of staying true to our small musician beginnings. Even we're sponsoring a small metal show in New York in May, for example. So we're kind of keeping it grassroots.
That's a good place to protect. Have musicians protect their ears for sure. At metal shows. Well, awesome, Mike. Hey, man, I really appreciate everything you guys do, and I want everyone to make sure they go to MEEAUDIO.com. Check out all the different products, whether you're going to buy it for yourself or buy it for a friend. It's cost effective. These are great gifts as well as personal investments. Like them on Facebook, like us on Facebook, entertalkradio.com. Come check that out, and make sure to check out our sponsors, Pitbull Audio, SIR. Thanks, folks. We'll tune in next week.
You know what's all around you every waking moment of your life? Marketing. You're choking on it. I'm Scott Robertson, and when it comes to strategic PR, branding, and marketing, I've seen it all. And actually, I'm still seeing it because bad marketing never sleeps. Join me each week on May the Best Brand Win, right here on Intertalk Radio, and learn how to make the marketing for your brand unforgettable.
Hi, this is Tim Dolbear from Eclectica Studios. I'm a full-time mixing and recording engineer. I work with Grammy winners, labels, and indie artists, using state-of-the-art digital mixing and restoration tools and the very best in analog gear. Really, though, it's my ability to bring tracks to life and fulfill your vision for your music. This has made me sought after by producers and artists worldwide. So spend your time working on music and not chasing a mix down a rabbit hole. Go to timdolbear.com and check out our free one-song mix offer.
Are you serious about your music? Are you ready to run with the big dogs? The experts at Pitbull Audio have the gear to get you into the game. From leading manufacturers like Mesa Boogie, Fender, Pioneer, and American Audio. To sound your best, you need the best. Pitbull Audio can deliver in rehearsal, on stage, and into the big time. Dropping beats, shredding guitar, or making the crowd roar. Whatever you dream, Pitbull Audio can help make it happen. We are Pitbull Audio. We want you to play it loud. PitbullAudio.com.
This is Jackie Bertoni from Jackie's Groove. Come join me weekly on my journey through the music business as I take you behind the velvet rope, interviewing industry notables such as Al DiMeola, Michael McDonald, and Al Jarreau, to name but a few. Listen to their stories on being in the studios recording #1 hits and onto the stages throughout the globe. Allow me to be your music historian. You can hear me live every Monday at 2 p.m. and every Wednesday at 12 noon Pacific Standard Time or 24/7 on jackiesgroove.com. Ready to get your groove on?